So the Australian Broadcasting Corporation have published another video regarding the people who are criticising their cringy privilege rap video, which included myself. And I think they actually kind of dog whistle to me in this video, but it's as cringy as before, but this time they're actually making an argument. They're not just trying to propagandise children with, well, what we can just openly demonstrate to be lies. Now they're actually trying to make a proper argument. Of course, they're doing it through the magic of song.
What's this? It's the internet. What's that? It's a big network and open forum that allows the expression of opinions where people have discussion with their different points of view.
Well, that's problematic, isn't it? I mean, good grief, you can't possibly have people with different points of view because they might not agree with you. And they might come and tell you that they disagree with you, and you might get fucking salty about that because they might point out that you guys A, look ridiculous, B, are completely fucking wrong, and C, have absolutely no good argument whatsoever.
Whoa, that sounds pretty happy. Well, no, it's actually pretty crappy.
The internet's pretty crappy. Just the internet is pretty crappy. Are you insane? The internet is fucking amazing, and it's people like you who actually will end up making it pretty crappy if you get your way. All because there are people on the internet that you don't like because they disagree with you. Amazing.
Here are two people trying to live their life. They both log in and go online. They have many options for how to spend their time, but they do it differently. Can you show me through rhyme?
Do you have to? Can we not just have a statement where you just say, look, this is how we feel about this? That's what I do. I don't feel the need to embarrass myself like that. But okay, go ahead. And I'm sure that this is going to be entirely representative and completely coherent with the message you've been putting across so far, won't it?
Sure, this is Carol and she's in her 30s and she goes to a job which is pretty busy.
Isn't that incredible? You just happen to have chosen a white woman who's in her 30s, who's got a job, she's middle class. It's almost like she is a direct avatar of the people who made this video. Sorry, do go on.
Maybe she'll share a video of a dog or download recipes from a food blog.
Or maybe she'll just tell men, in general, just all men, not naming any specific one, but just saying men, especially the white ones, just have it a lot easier than she does. In fact, they're privileged. They're so fucking privileged. They have never had to do a day's work in all their life. Maybe she's going to sit there and undermine the hard work that every fucking man in the West has done to get our civilization to this point and say, you know what, you guys didn't do any of this, and all of the rewards you get for being a hardworking man in the world, you got that for free. I mean, I can't think of a way of belittling people more than that, just trying to tear down their accomplishments on the basis that they're white and male, and now you're going to tell us that you're the ones with empathy, aren't you?
Most importantly, she has empathy and...
No, she doesn't. She's solipsistic. She's entirely self-centered. She thinks the world revolves around her, and she thinks that she can produce videos saying men literally teleport from start to finish and are given all the rewards by doing none of the work, and you think that's fucking empathetic. Do you see why people are pissed off with you? That's amazing that you think you can claim to have empathy while specifically not only ignoring the hard work and effort that people had to put in to achieve their success, but then by going on and demonizing the people who disagree with you. Notice how I'm not calling you names. I'm not saying you're a shitlord, you're a troll, you're any of these things. I'm saying you are a privileged middle-class woman, and that's only because that's a description of what I can see. You don't know who you're talking about. I know exactly who I'm talking about. Do you see the difference?
And doesn't feel like she has to be mean.
Wow, really? You think it's not mean to just be blanket bigoted against men? I mean, why do you think people are responding to you? It's not just men responding to you this way, obviously, but why do you think people are responding to you this way? Do you think that being a fucking bigot on the internet is something that people are just fine with? Do you think they'll just let that go? Do you think they won't try and speak back in their own defense when you're attacking them based on their race and gender and telling them that they have literally achieved nothing with all of their hard work because you don't even recognize that they've done any hard work, but you think you're not being mean? I guess that's some of that famous empathy that I've heard so much about being demonstrated, isn't it?
Whoa, she sounds content.
No, she's not. She's a whiny bitch. She sits there, whines all day professionally. That's her job, to whine and propagandize about the fact that men work harder than she does. That's her job, believe it or not. And she gets paid at the taxpayer expense.
Is everyone like this on the internet?
Thank fuck no. Thank God. Imagine how dull and mummified the internet would be if everyone was like that.
No, meet Kevin. He used to be nice, but then he became disenfranchised.
Wow, why would he become disenfranchised? Why wouldn't he just cash in his male privilege and just accept the inevitable teleportation from being a loser to being a successful business owner or whatever it is you think all white men are without doing any of the hard work? Do you remember when I said about the inconsistency of your own narrative here? How is it that Kevin is a loser and he doesn't just end up with, I don't know, 72 virgins or whatever it is you think white men get? Why would that be the case?
His life hasn't turned out as he planned, so he spends all his time posting on 4chan.
Wow, that's amazing! You're actually admitting that there isn't just something called male privilege, and it is in fact the consequences of your life choices that determine whether you're successful or not. So just saying, here's a white man, he has privilege and he teleports to the end, this is directly in conflict with your own narrative. You are admitting that you were wrong, that what you were saying was not true. You are now countering your own narrative about white men. It's not that they're successful businessmen to whom everything is given on a silver platter with no effort required on their part. Now it's that they're losers who can't get ahead in society and they're angry and disenfranchised and lashing out on the internet, which is way more accurate than your first lie. But remember where you were claiming to have empathy? When I see someone like that, when I see someone who actually is incapable of getting ahead, for whatever reason, and then a bunch of bigots say, hey, you fucking white man, you get everything on a plate, and they get angry, and they want to lash out, I actually use some empathy and think, right, what would it be like if I were in their position? And I was, fuck, I'd be pissed off too. I'd be really fucking pissed off. And I would want the people who are treating them as if they are, in fact, not losers, but oppressors of women everywhere, minorities everywhere, to stop treating them that way. Because, as you've admitted here, it's just not true.
He frequently visits alt-right memes and thinks feminism is what ruined his dreams. What?
Well, feminism is actively against men, isn't it? I mean, this is where all of this comes from. You guys are actively trying to tear down men out of this misplaced sense of jealousy and envy, and thinking that they are somehow responsible for you not being as successful as some of them. Not all of them, only some of them, the ones specifically above you who put in the extra hours, who did the extra work that you couldn't be bothered to do when you were clocking out early on a Friday afternoon. And then you're looking at all of the female privilege that you have and not seeing it, all of the affirmative action, all of the preferential treatment and hiring and all of this other stuff that women get that men don't, and you're just thinking, well, they're just fucking salty losers, aren't they? This was all fair. I mean, look, there's a white man above me, therefore those white men below me can't be being held down by the institutions that are giving me an unfair advantage because I was born with a cunt. But sorry, don't let me keep interrupting you with the way this is actually perceived outside of your far left bubble. You carry on.
Wow, he sounds fantastic. Are you being serious? No, I'm being sarcastic. The internet's great for personal use, but for some sad people that includes abuse. See?
Yeah, but that's you. And that's your job. You publicly abuse and belittle people. That's literally what you're doing here. That is your job, and you are fucking insufferable. You have every advantage. You have every institution completely locked down to suit you and your needs. You are actively whittling away masculinity and the idea of it in general, making sure that it's exercised from every institution, because any masculine expression is harmful and abusive, and you're sat there doing this to the point where young boys are now just drugged up in case they act like young boys. They're falling behind in schools, they're dropping out, they're earning less and less and less, to the point where young women are earning more than young men now. And that's a trend that's not going to reverse, because young women are the majority of university students now. You have actually managed to manufacture society using the guilt of men who have done nothing wrong to advance yourselves on the basis that you are female, and now you are going to sit here and tell people that they shouldn't be angry that you just fucked them. Honestly, there's a part of me that admires your balls. I mean, to be that unbelievably selfish and then whine when the plebs will dare speak out of turn in your precious comment sections and quote-unquote troll you, you're just so angry. How dare they? Don't they know their place?
Carol can visit an internet page without the need to directly engage. Kevin sees a kids show from 5 months back and he feels like he's being personally attacked. Carol and...
Yeah, but you actually are personally attacking every man. You're saying their work doesn't count because it was done by a man. Do you even understand what that means? And also, look at this judgy tone policing bollocks. Oh, you know what, we're very privileged. We have the institution behind us that's providing all of these graphics and music and all the set. I mean, you notice I don't have any of this shit. I'm just some fucking guy in a room. But no, you've got an organisation. You get paid to do this from an actual corporation. You have institutional power. And now you're going to sit there and tone police the people who don't because they won't fall into line. Go ahead, ladies.
Kevin both saw the same clip. Carol pressed like, then ate some chips. Kevin tagged his mates in the Facebook comments because it's anti-white, anti-male, leftist content.
Okay, but he's not wrong, is he? It's definitely anti-white, anti-male, and it's definitely far-left content, and it's coming from his fucking tax money. Why shouldn't he be angry? Why shouldn't he want to have his voice heard? But this is the point. You're making content that specifically panders to you, to your gender, specifically excluding him. And you're annoyed that he's being deliberately excluded on the basis of his gender. You're being actively discriminated against. And you can't see how that's wrong because you are so fucking privileged. And of course, the lady in your example can just press like because it's pandering directly to her. What would she complain about?
He then posted his own reaction video.
Oh, I guess that'd be me. With the
directed alt-right trolls to attack a kids show.
With the alt-right trolls. It's not... Look at the judgy faces, bitches. It's because it was a fucking kids show that I did it. It isn't a sacred thing. Oh, this was made for kids, therefore it's fucking perfect. If it was a Nazi youth film being presented by ABC, I would do the fucking same. The problem is that you are trying to propagandise kids with something that you have demonstrated is not true. But it is entirely to your benefit. That's my problem with you, and I will continue doing it while you continue to try and talk to children in a manner that is dishonest and self-serving.
I mean, it was literally a Facebook page for a kids show.
I mean,
yes.
Why on earth are grown men wasting their time?
See, Carol doesn't need to post it.
Because I have a son, and I don't want you telling him that he's bad or wrong or lazy just because he's male, and that you're so fucking perfect just because you're female. I don't want that. That to me is anti-egalitarian. That to me is the opposite of the world I want to live in. I want to see men and women treated the same. And then they get to rise and fall depending on the effort that they put in society. Not because a bunch of fucking neo-communists come along and say, you know what, we need to level this out a bit. Why? Because we didn't work as hard as the men. That's why. I swear to God, the fact that you think that there's something wrong with grown men with children complaining that you're trying to propagandise those children and striking back at your bullshit, using your own words to refute your stupid fucking arguments, that you think that that is somehow, like, below what a man should do, it seems to me the fucking obvious responsibility of men to stand up to this. How fucking dare you sit there and think that you can abuse children like this by lying to them for your own personal fucking benefit and the benefit of other women at the expense of these boys, and think that that doesn't deserve a fucking reply. But oh, don't tell me, they're just alt-right trolls. Oh, that's all that empathy I've heard so much about. That's why I'm arguing for an egalitarian liberal world order and not a traditionalist world order that the alt-right one. But hell, I must just be an alt-right troll. I couldn't possibly have a legitimate criticism or want to engage in a proper conversation about this because you guys know better and you're ensconced in your ivory towers. But remember, like I told you before, we have your fucking comment sections. And we'll go through those in a minute because we are not going to let you fucking forget this. We're not going away until you fucking go away. Remember that.
Abuse because she puts her time to good use.
Bullshit. Bull fucking shit, does she? If she did, she'd be at the top of all these companies and she wouldn't have to sit there and go, why is my boss a man?
Kevin hates his job and women won't date him because he likes to quote Rick and Morty verbatim, but instead...
Wow, that was so empathetic. That wasn't a stereotype or a straw man in any way, shape or form. You know, and I'm sure it is. I'm sure there are lots of young men who can't get dates. And you know what? Instead of being empathetic to them, you can just shit on them, can't you? And you can say that there's something wrong with you. It's not that we've been attacking you for decades and decades and decades, using every weapon at our disposal, using any institution that will give us any time at all, using all sorts of neo-Marxist theories that will suddenly paint the weakest men and most vulnerable men in society as tremendous oppressors of women. Oh, no. The problem is with you. Maybe you should be more like a girl.
Of looking at himself, Kevin likes to blame the world.
Well, maybe, just maybe, you realise that you too are part of the problem? Do you not understand what you're doing? I mean, well, okay, to be honest with you, I believe that you don't understand what you're doing. I mean, that's a silly question. But don't ever talk about empathy. Just don't ever do it, because you do not have any. You're a selfish pair of cunts.
So where does a person like Kevin go? The comments section on a kid's video.
Again, this whole fucking kids video, yeah, that's where else would he go? What would he do? You think he's going to send a letter to your editor or something? He wants other people in the public to know that he's not alone and they're not alone. When they see your horseshit, your lies, your fucking Marxist nonsense, and they're like, well, Jesus Christ, this seems just wrong. And he can go, well, yeah, actually it is wrong, and let me tell you why. I've actually spent a lot of time reading into all of this nonsense, and I can tell you exactly why this is bullshit, and I can see exactly who's benefiting from the bullshit, and exactly whose expense at which they're benefiting. Go on, old dears, give me a word.
Word.
Is this meant to be funny, is it? Honestly, your cats are embarrassed of you. So let's have a look at the comment sections and see how things are. ABC Comedy, we want you to be part of the conversation, but please keep it, not even please, but keep your comments civil or they will be deleted. We will not tolerate abusive, offensive or obscene comments of any kind. If you'd like to make a formal complaint, blah blah blah. Okay. Alex Shutak, obscene equals anything that's not far left. People can see through your bullshit. Jack Jameson, indoctrinating kids with a far-left ideology that demonizes half of them because of their race and gender is not something that should be broadcast to children. That kind of debate needs to be confined to adults. Honestly, it needs to be confined to fucking loony bin, but let the kids be kids. And isn't it strange that the far left wants to block the debate between adults, but it's happy to enforce their dogma on kids who aren't in a position to critically analyse it? Tells you everything, just about everything you need to know about their far left and their cult-like ideology. 5,500 upvotes. Oh, this is a great one by Sean. Another load of lefty crap? I'm white. I have to work for my privilege. JJ Smith. This is Kevin. Kevin is a responsible, law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. When Kevin sees the national broadcaster posting cringeworthy propaganda on the internet, he calls them out on their bullshit. Be more like Kevin. Now this is an interesting one by Luke Martinez. Why attack a kids show? Maybe it's because you're trying to teach kids to hate each other based on skin colour and social class. No sane person is going to press like and move on, especially if they have kids. Now, what do we think the odds are of our two lovely, lovely ladies here actually being parents themselves? Or are they angry cat ladies who are well past the wall with shriveled, dried ovaries? Christopher Kimball. How dare you attack us while we try to indoctrinate your children, is what I heard. As usual, you missed the point entirely why people are pissed, but go on, keep turning the notch of cringe to 11. Like, seriously, you're hiding behind children now. Which you are. You are pathetic, you are totally unfunny, everything you do is absolutely cringe, and everyone just wants you to stop.